Now let us look at the more generalized structure of while and for loop in C++. While discussing about the general structure of loop control structure in C++, we must be aware of loop control variable. The loop control variable is a variable which controls the loop throughout. For example, in our previous code snippet, we have used lap count as our loop control variable. As you can see, first I have initialized loop control variable, then I have constructed a condition using the same loop control variable, and finally I have modified the loop control variable to keep hold on my while loop. In this example, we have used I as our loop control variable. So as you can see, first I have initialized I as 0 as an initialization. Then inside the parenthesis followed by the while keyword, I kept the condition. Here, assuming n as a positive number, I created a condition called I less than n. And finally, in the last statement of the while loop, I have modified the loop control variable I. In this program, I have incremented the loop control variable. However, it is possible to decrement or even any type of modification can be done. Always remember this initialization, condition and modification you should design in such a way so that whenever the condition is true, then the while loop should execute for some time. Always you should think the initial value as the starting point of a race. The condition is the finishing point of the race. So your motivation is you should stay inside the while loop for a while, and each step of the modification of the loop control variable is just similar to each step of your run in the race. In this slide you can see some brainstorming example that you may try to solve. As you can I would like to say only one thing here. These are the last two examples. Here, notice the negative symbol before 10. So, if I just use the increment, it will definitely end up in a infinite loop because I is growing, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And every time it is growing, it is becoming greater and greater comparing to minus 10. So it will end up in an infinite loop. So in order to make it non-infinite, here you have to decrement I instead of incrementing. That's what I was saying, that modification does not mean only incrementing the variable, but it can have decrement or any form of modification. Now, once you have understood this while loop, the understanding of for loop is really very easy. This for loop is basically a very handy syntax, and it allows you to write all the loop control variable parts in the same line. That is, you can initialize the loop control variable, you can check the condition, and also you can do the modification in the same line. In while loop, you needed to use 3 different lines, but in for loop, everything you can do in the same line. Other than that, everything is same in while and for loop. Logic-wise and programmatically, they are all same. They are just 2 simple variation. While loop has a little bit more elaborate syntax, and that is why I always recommend it for beginners. But for loop is very handy to use as it compresses the entire thing in one line.